Code number 8, my favorite number: sell the experience, not the concept. Sell the experience, not the concept. This is the reason why we're always serving, right? Let them experience your magic. I had fun making these little emojis here. I hope you enjoyed them. Sell the experience, not the concept. Let them experience your magic. What do I mean? Really, what we want to be doing before we enroll somebody is asking ourselves the question: do they have enough experience of what it would be like to work with me? And also, actually, it's the same thing with you. Do you have enough experience of them to know what it'd be like working with them? That's a side note. It's not the point I want to be making in this code, okay? But that's something that's super duper important. I'll be speaking more into that in Qualify for Magic, but it just came alive here. But do they have enough experience of what it'd be like working with you, okay, for them to be able to make a decision to work with you, okay? So look, the idea is you know, we don't want to be selling from the idea of, you know, the mind. We want to be selling from like, oh, theoretically this is the kind of stuff that happens, right? We want them to actually experience the stuff that happens. They want to experience the magic that happens, because then really it's there's no leap of faith required to work with you. It's like, I've already changed, I already feel different, my world is already different. Whoa, haven't even paid this chap yet. Da-dum. Get the point? Serving. Actually serve, create breakthroughs. Always look for if this soul in front of you has had enough experience of your magic, so they can actually base their decision on whether to work with you or not from how they already feel and what has already changed. Don't be tight and stingy with your magic, right? Don't be tight and stingy with your magic. If they are getting enough value already, then it's an easy choice for them to make. Now, one thing that might be occurring for you is, yeah, but what if I give away too much? Is there such thing as giving away too much? Answer: yes, there actually is. And I'll approach this on the service codes. You know, you don't want to be giving away, you know, 8 one-on-one coaching sessions to somebody for free as an enrollment journey. No, definitely not. But again, if you have any specific questions around this, ask me in the group or on school. I will be covering it in the sales codes module. If they're already getting enough value from it, it's already an easy choice to make. If they don't have the experience, then they need to take a leap of faith. You see, understand this? Like, if they don't actually have any experience of what it's like to work with you, then it's really just them hoping or guessing. You know, it's a leap of faith. We don't want them to have a leap of faith. We want them to have a full-bodied yes from a place of knowing and experience. Most coaches sell, and most high-ticket sales training is teaching you to sell on the conceptual level, i.e., coaching is great. You know, I've done this, I've done that, and I've helped my clients get all this kind of stuff. Cool. Maybe even sharing stories, which is, we know, is powerful. And unless they've actually tasted it, you know, like when you go to, like, I remember in supermarkets in England, they'd always let you taste food, or even anywhere actually, they let you taste food before you buy it. You know, say, hey, have this little sample. You taste it, like, whoa, I want more. You know, drug dealers know this very, very well. You get the first hit for free. You know, um, maybe this is called the drug dealer close. Who knows? Moving swiftly on. So where was I? Okay, cool. We don't want to be selling on the conceptual, just like our good friend, the drug dealer. We want to give somebody the experience of what it's like before they get hooked on us. So it's not conceptual, which is mental. We actually want them to taste it. There's no internal knowledge of how it will work. No internal transformation has occurred yet if it's just mental. We want them to actually feel our magic. It makes it so much easier. Can you see how all of these codes compounded together really work? Getting all the stories. Oh my God, I'm feeling this magic. This person's already helped create breakthroughs inside me. I've tasted it. People won't know if it'll work for them unless they've tasted it. Even if they're convinced that it's worked for so many other people you've worked with, they don't necessarily know it's going to work for them, right? When they have experienced your magic, they can now say to their wife, etc., I've already changed. So let's say, for example, like, you have an enrollment conversation with somebody and they're like, okay, I need to go and talk to my wife. I made a promise, let's say, to my wife that I wouldn't make a decision above 10 grand or whatever it is unless we discussed it together, and we honor that. That's cool. That's a fine objection to have. But at least this way, I'll teach you about how to actually coach them to have that conversation, the sales codes, because it's a common one. But But just notice how different the conversation is going to be when they go to their wife or go to their husband. Hey, this thing is going to be really good, compared to, hey, this is how my life has already changed. This is how I feel differently. This is how I'm acting differently. This is how I'm perceiving life and my situation differently already. Big difference. Sell the experience, not the concept. If someone is not making, okay, here's the point. If somebody's not making a yes decision to work with you, and you feel that there is magic here, but you're like, why the fuck? You know, you've been in this situation before. You're like, I've qualified for magic. I feel the magic. I know I can help this person, but they're not saying yes. Why? Very often, the reason why people say no to working with us, okay, the number one reason why people are giving you an objection is because they're afraid they're going to make the wrong decision. That's literally what it comes down to. If you're not afraid that you're going to make the wrong decision, why would you invest? So the only reason why we give an objection is we're afraid we're going to make the wrong decision. And one of the ways that we get to overcome that objection, remember how I said in the last training, the best way to deal with objections is to not get them. Essentially, the best way to deal with objections is to have people in a state where they know they are making the right decision. Sell the experience, not the concept. They've already changed. So if somebody's not making a yes decision to work with you, or if they're taking a really long time to get back to you, ask yourself, have they had enough experience of what coaching me with me would be like? And if you tune in the answer is no, then you get to work and score yourself on the codes and go, okay, well, maybe I was only a 6 here, maybe only a 5 here, whatever. But then you also get to slow everything down and invite them into an experience. Then they'll base their choice on what they already know. Simple. Absolutely simple. I'm actually in the process right now. I've got 2 coaches that I potentially want to work with. And I'm already working with quite a few. I'm working with 4 coaches at the moment now. And I've got another 2 in the waiting line. And it's interesting me just kind of seeing how they approach the process and how they could improve it. And it's interesting. Neither one of them has given me a session. Neither one of them. And you know, one of them is 10 grand a month, and the other one is 25 grand for 6 months, pay in full. And so neither one of them has sold the experience. It's all conceptual. And even conceptually, I'm like, oh, I quite like this. But my decision would be made so much easier if they were to give me an example of their work. And neither one of them has done that. And they're high level enough to be charging those kind of prices. Notice. You get to be a master of masters when it comes to this. Yes. So, for example, now, this is my only case study, with both of these individuals, I'm thinking, I'm not sure if I want to be hiring them anymore because I've changed. It's been a few months since I had the initial conversation with them. I just said, look, I've got things on at the moment. It's not now, but let's explore this later. And the conversation has been alive between the 2 of them. But actually, at the same time, I haven't really experienced enough. I've evolved a whole bunch. The person I was 2 months ago is a different person now. And the person I am now doesn't feel like I need them or even want them. But if they were to sell me the experience and get me into a free session, I might change my mind. Now the question is, once somebody's experienced you, the question is, do I want more? Gary Vaynerchuk. Love Gary Vaynerchuk. I've already mentioned him before. He's really, really good. And one of the things that he speaks about, especially because he's very much marketer and he's very much social media marketer. And, you know, a lot of people, he owns Vayner Media, and a lot of people are highly inspired from him. Yeah, his is amazing. And if you know Alex Hormozy, so Alex Hormozy, for example, the person that does Alex Hormozy's work used to be Gary Vee's #1 top chap. So you can see that Gary Vee just knows what he's doing when it comes to social media stuff. And one of the biggest things that he says, Alex Hormozy is a perfect example of this. Gary Vaynerchuk's a perfect example of this. Give your best stuff away for free. Give value all the time. Always be serving. When people interact with you, they're always like, wow, they're left with the impression of increase. They're already being transformed. They watch their content. You're like, oh my God, this content is better than some of the paid stuff that I get. You know, there's so much noise in the industry with so many marketers saying, trust me, do this program. Trust me, it's 10 grand. It's amazing. And so many of us have invested in these programs and gone, yeah, it wasn't really worth it. Wasn't really worth the money, or like it was, because you can always find when you're a human being that takes responsibility for your life, you can always find an angle of why your investment was good, but actually maybe it wasn't that good. transform people's lives through experience, not through concept. And they're way more likely to trust that when they actually give you money, it's going to change their fucking world. Can you see how this is the 12D? This is the 12D. Plus, on an energetic level, you're just getting so much good brownie points with the universe. Not that that's why you do it, but like, you're not doing it to get brownie points. You're doing it because you're in harmony with the vibration of abundance. And therefore, because you're in harmony with the vibration of abundance, what occurs? Abundance. It builds trust, it builds credibility, it builds authority, it builds reciprocity. I give you something, you give me something, and it makes decisions to work with you so much easier. So just serve, and sell the experience, not the concept. So, we're finally here. Can you believe it? The referral triangle, something you've heard me say so many times, dear lovely coaches and light workers. We get here now. The referral triangle, how to actually get more referrals. Cannot wait to show you this one. So let's go straight in. I hope you like my Illuminati triangle. I found it rather comical. So let me pause this and get you back off on this. Okay, super duper important. I will teach this to you once and you'll probably never forget it. The most important thing about what I'm about to teach you now is look out for the nuances. I'll point out the nuances for you, but I really want you to notice the nuances behind what I'm doing. It's very, very simple, and every nuance needs to be applied. It's almost like there's an equation. It's a very simple equation, but you need every single last element in the equation. Don't worry, I'm going to slow it all down and make sure I do not leave a stone unturned so you know everything you need to know about the referral triangle. So, I'm really happy to share this with you. This is a game changer. Why is it that most coaches struggle with referrals? Number one, they don't ask for them. Number two, when they do ask for them, it's more like, hey, can I have a referral? Or can you connect me with somebody? Yeah, I'll have a think about it. And you never hear from them again, okay? Now I'm going to teach you the referral triangle, and you'll notice once you know this, and you'll see on the infinite lead generation formula, you can apply the referral triangle in any single conversation, including a sales conversation. By the way, I'm going to teach you that in the sales codes training. That is hot off the press strategy. And so when you embody and learn and apply the referral triangle, you're going to accelerate becoming fully booked, and you're going to accelerate staying fully booked. Can't wait. No one knows this. Literally, no coach does this, and now you've got it. So, triangle. Why is it a triangle? Secretly, it's because I'm Illuminati. No. Triangle. So, there are three people in the equation of becoming fully booked. There's me, or there's you, let's say. There's you, okay? There is the person you are speaking to who's going to be making the connection. And then there is the person who is being connected, this chap's friend, this chap's potential client. Now, question. Who is the most important person in this equation? Answer, this lovely fellow up here. Why? Because this person makes this relationship happen. Without this person, this relationship doesn't happen, or this relationship happens by virtue of cold calling or somebody else making the introduction or us bumping into each other. So this is the most important person in the equation, okay? So when we ask for referral, this is the person that we need to get emotionally invested in making this happen. So important. So how does this work? Well, like I've mentioned, there's many instances that you can apply the referral triangle. I'll give an example. Let's say, for example, you've just had a really powerful session with a client, and you say to them, "Hey, was that valuable for you?" And they go, "Yes." "Oh my dear Lord, that was actually a particularly valuable session. I had this happen, and you go, "Why? Tell me what happened." And then they go, "I had this, I had this, I had this, I had this, I had this." They share their breakthroughs, right? Then what you get to do is go, "Wow, amazing, thank you." So I actually have two spaces left open in my practice. And like I mentioned to you when we first started working together, which is a good practice you should always do, I grow my business through invitation referral only, from referrals from people I trust. So here's my question for you. Who do you know that would also get value from spending time with me? When you serve people and you change their lives, it's very easy for them to start thinking of people. Now, more often than not, they're going to go, My friend Sandy. Now, what most coaches do is they go, thanks so much. Can you connect me with Sandy? And the person goes, yeah. Or they would go, can you think of somebody after the session? And they'll go, yeah, I'll have a think about it. You never hear from them again. This is why it doesn't work. So what you need to do is you need to get clear. So who can you think of? Sandy, thank you. Slow down. Tell me about Sandy. Who is she? Or he? Um, what do they do? Why did Sandy come to your mind when I asked that question? Da-da. What challenges is Sandy working on? What goals they work on? Have they experienced coaching before? You slow down and you get curious. Get inside Sandy's world via this person's mind. Okay, we're doing this for a couple of reasons. The first is we want to really find out if this is actually going to be something we can help. The second is we want to find out somebody if this is somebody that we want to help. We might go, actually, no, Sandy doesn't sound right for me. Next, okay, politely. What we're also doing is we're getting our client Daryl, sure, Daryl, we're getting Daryl emotionally invested in making this happen. For example, yes, so Sandy has just gone for a divorce at the moment, and it's a recurring pattern. And she just loves getting married. She's been married 5 times this year. It's a huge thing. I don't know, whatever it is, right? Okay. And then we say, okay, so why do you feel, bizarre example, William, why do you feel that they'll get value from spending time with me? You ask them, they tell you, you go, okay, it sounds like I can really help Sandy. I'm a divorce specialist. This is okay. I can definitely help her 100%. Do you feel it'd be valuable if I were to give her a free session? Oh my God, yes. Why do you think it'd be valuable? Slow down, get the emotional investment. Oh, because you'd be able to do this and do this and do this. And you know that thing you did for me, you'll definitely do that with her as well. Fantastic. Well, I tell you what, it sounds to me like I could really offer some value to your dear friend Daryl. How about this? I tell you what I'd do. I'd be very happy to gift, excuse me, Daryl. I'd be very happy to gift your friend Sandy a one-on-one 60-minute free session with me. Would that be valuable? Yes, it would. Amazing. Cool. And there's a couple of ways you can tee this up. Remember, the way that I teach sales, lead generation, everything is always you're always serving. So if you have a sales conversation with somebody, you're serving them, vice versa. So and this person knows you're always going to be serving no matter what, plus you do as well. So even if you want to tee it up as an enrollment conversation, a sales call, you still use my serve method, so it's still a free session. So you literally just offer them a free session. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it a free how to not get divorced ever again strategy session. Doesn't matter, get creative, but this is just the underlying principles. And then they go, that sounds amazing. You go, great. Now you lead. Now what they are going to want to do, this is important. Remember I said nuances? When I said nuances, I was really thinking about this bit. Obviously, everything in the beginning is self-explanatory, but this is super important. Remember, never cold call. What they're going to want to do now is they're going to want to take the lead and go, cool, I'll tell you what, I'll give you her number. No. I'll give you her Facebook. No. I'll give you her website. No. No. What you do is you lead and you say, thank you. This is what I do in this situation. Is what I'd love you to do is I'd love you to speak to Sandy today or tomorrow. Do not be afraid to say today or tomorrow. And I'd love you to explain the value or whatever value you feel you get from our time together, and share that we had this conversation, and share with her that I said that I'd be very happy to give her a free 90-minute session where we would do 1, 2, and 3. Then if she's excited, only if she's excited, what I'd love you to do, nuance number 2, what I'd love you to do is to make an introduction between the two of us. We don't want to be cold calling here, okay? And so do it however you want to do it, either email, Instagram, whatever. I prefer WhatsApp. Okay, it's very personal. I'm building relationships with people. It's very personal. Email is not personal. WhatsApp is more personal. You do what feels good for you, however. I say what I'd love you to do and what I do in this situation is if you can make an introduction on WhatsApp, you make a group and introduce us, then I can take it from there. How does that sound? Then they're going to say yes. And then you get to say, great, just for my schedule right now, if you're able to do that today or tomorrow, that will work really well for me. Don't justify yourself. Don't be like, oh, I need you to do it because of this or this or this. No, you just tell them. Don't justify yourself. I'm going on holiday next week. It's just like, for my schedule, what would work well for me is if you could do that today or tomorrow. Does that sound good? Yes. Beautiful. Remember, you're offering value. Don't fall into the trap of forgetting to serve, right? Don't fall into the trap of, oh, I just want to get a client and da 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 da. take the lead. Know that you're offering value. Know that, yeah, there is a possibility this person might become a client, but really before then, you're going to serve the hell out of this person. So come from the energy of I'm providing value here. And lead accordingly. So that's it. You literally say to them, can you make the connection? They say yes. And then the next thing that you do is you say, great, thank you so much. Who else do you know? And then you start the whole process again. It's that simple. You start the whole process again. One human being sent me 12 people. 12. I didn't slow down and do this with all 12 people. After about 4 or 5, she was like, I know tons. And I said, great, if you can make the connection for me. And she did. She made introductions with 12 people via WhatsApp. So really slow down with this. And what you'll find is sometimes someone says no. But also a lot of the time people say yes, and they'll send you a lot of people. And referrals are so much more powerful than any other interconnection. So for example, remember if we go back to this like don't cold call thing, if you're cold calling, you might send 50 messages out to people and one person replies. If you slow down with people that you already know, each one person could send you 3 people. And those 3 people are coming as recommendations from someone that they know, like, and trust, which makes everything so much easier for you. Use the referral triangle. Now, what I do is I always say, can you do that next 2 days? They say yes. So they've agreed to speaking to their friend. We know exactly who the friend is. We know exactly how we can help that friend. They know exactly how, more importantly, how we can help that friend. They're emotionally invested in making this happen. They're excited about making this happen. They know how to connect us via WhatsApp and in what time frame, under what circumstances, and what to say. You've led the whole thing. And then what we get to do is in 48 hours time, if we haven't heard from them, the connection hasn't been made, we just send them a message, come from a place of love and service, and to say, hey, did you manage to speak to Sandy yet? I still have a place for her. Done. And then you get to follow up. The percentage of referrals will go through the effing roof when you follow this. You are so welcome, so welcome, so welcome. Please apply it. It is a this is a game changer of a code. Cool. So, when to use? You get to use this inside any conversation, even inside sales calls. Watch out for that training in the sales codes. Also, remember, you don't just ask for referrals for one-on-one clients. You might want to do you might want to be invited into do public speaking or workshops. You can use a referral triangle to be connected to anybody that can open any door, no matter what you want the door to be open for. So potential clients, collaborations, masterminds, free sessions, anything that you can get inside a conversation and add value, and any kind of lead generation strategy that you might be incorporating. Let's say that you want to just do public speaking inside masterminds. You get to ask for referrals of people that are connected to mastermind people. How to use the referrer needs to be emotionally invested and authentic and enthusiastic in making the connection. That's the most important thing. The longer you talk to them about the person to be connected, the better. Dig deep. How is this conversation that is going to occur by virtue of this connection going to change their life? The more excited and convinced that they are going to be that they actually want to make this happen. It's all about leading. Lead them in how to speak, what to say to them, how to make the connection happen, in what time frame, and make sure you follow up within 48 hours if you need to. It's literally that simple. It's so, all of these codes, I hope you realize, are so simple. And the referral triangle is one that when you start doing it, you're going to go, oh, I was leaving so much on the table. And so I'm just so pleased that you have access to that now, and you don't have to wait 9 years of being in business to work that one out like I did. So you've got it. 10, limitation increases value. This is really important. Limitation increases value. So consequently, we want to emphasize limitation wherever it's actually present in our business. Really important. It's a really simple and fast one, but just, it's important. You are limited. You are also scarce. There is only one coach like you in the world. There's only you in the world. You guys might resonate with me, but you may not resonate with any other business coach. And that gives value. That gives more value to our connection, right? Limitation increases value. There's only a certain amount of people that I can be working with. There's only so much time I have. There's only so many clients that I desire to work with. There's only limitations in terms of energy. So we want to emphasize limitation wherever it's present. The stamp story. So I actually heard this in the Prosperous Coach. It's a really good one. And I think Stephen Chandler told this story. So the idea is this, right? There was a very famous stamp collector, and he had one stamp, and there was only two stamps in the world that are the particular type, and so they were super rare and super valuable. And so one guy in Germany had one of the stamps. I have no idea where he was. It said Germany. The other guy in America had one of the stamps. And the German guy decided to buy the one off the American guy. So now he had two stamps. He had the only two stamps in the world. And then what he did is he burnt it. He burnt one of them. And everyone was like, what are you doing? You've just burnt so much money. And he goes, no, 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 no. Now I have the only stamp of its kind. There were two. Now there is just one. This one stamp that I now have is a one of a kind, and therefore its value has 10x. Limitation creates value. You want to be emphasizing your limitation wherever possible because it raises your value. What's the opposite of that? The opposite of that is, I reply to you as soon as you send me a message. You can have my whole diary, which, by the way, is empty, and you can select any date and time that you need. You have all the power. I'm here to work with you. That's not being limited. You want to emphasize limitation wherever it's possible. Again, for a couple of reasons. Scarcity, when something is limited, it becomes more valuable because there's less of it available. Exclusivity, limitations can also create a sense of exclusivity, which makes something more valuable. It's more exclusive. I only work with 4 people, clients a year because I really deep dive with them. And I'm choosing you, Urgency. When people perceive something as being limited, they are more likely to feel a sense of urgency to act quickly before it's gone. Again, with these principles, there's a reason why marketers use this kind of psychology. What I'm saying to you is, if it's already present, emphasize it, don't manufacture it. That's the difference. What a lot of marketers are doing, they are manufacturing fake scarcity, for example. What I'm inviting you to do is to know where you are limited and emphasize it honestly. It's important because then it becomes a selling point. There's fear of missing out. People can feel if there's things are limited. There's only limited places for this group coaching program, for example. Someone might be like, oh, wow. And there's, let's say, for example, this group coaching program, we only accept 6 coaches a week and we have maybe 18 applications a month. Suddenly there's fear of missing out. And we're very good at filtering people through. So it's very fear of missing out. Perceived value. The more in demand something is, the more perceived value that occurs by virtue of that, but also limitations can increase the perceived value of a product or service. When something is scarce, it becomes more desirable, just like that stamp. Social proof. Limitation can also create a sense of social proof. When something is scarce, it can signal to others that it's highly sought after and demand, and therefore there's not much less of it. So the opposite, again, I'm free and available all the time. I have loads of space. I have loads of time. My calendar is empty. I apply to you anytime I need you. Don't show up like that. Show up. Emphasize limitation where it's present. And this is really important. Like, before I work with anyone in this sales conversation, before I get to me presenting the offer, I always, when I'm inside a sales conversation, I am trying to work out whether I want to give a part of my life to this person. So genuinely, I am limited. I am assessing every single last person that's come through here. I've assessed you to see if I want to give you my time and energy. It's really important. And therefore there's limitation. But also, especially for one-on-one, I always let people know I am very, 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 very selective with who I work with. Because, can you see how this is like increasing my value? I'm very selective who I work with. I only work with people who are X, Y, and Z, and I tell them the reasons why. I know people that I really believe, who are future leaders, who are soul missioned clients, who I think are here to do big things. Especially my one-on-one now. Like, I only work with like real people that want to do something huge with one-on-one. Because my time is genuinely limited. But also that feels really nice for them to receive. Like, wow, and I get past that selection. And, so I always say to people, I'm giving you a big part of my life. So I'm very selective. I'm limited. Emphasize limitation wherever it's present. And know as well underneath it that there is only one of you. And this is the reason why the psychology of personal growth transformation isn't about the tools. With what I mean. So if you have syphilis and I give you penicillin, it's going to work. But if you have depression and I give you psychotherapy, it may not work. And one of the reasons why it may not work is because you may not be working with the right therapist. Because you can have a connection and a rapport, an energetic exchange and a soul alignment with the right therapist. Same thing with coaching. And there is only one of you in the world. And the clients that have that magic connection with you may not have that for another coach who's cheaper, etc. But they have it with you. And so just remember that there is only one of you, and therefore you are limited, and therefore you are valuable just by virtue of that. Key point: find out where you are limited and emphasize it wherever possible. Remember, creating clients gets to be just as fun as coaching them. Keep ranking yourself in these codes and practice, practice, practice until they become second nature. Play. Always be playing. Play, 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 play. Mastery and all of these codes come from playfulness and experimentation. And it gets to be fun. See you in the next one. Big love.